I want to say something, right? Because today I thought, you know what? I made a lot of sense with what I said on my radio show on Le Forum, on BPM Sports, weekdays between 9:50 a.m. to 11:50 a.m. to make it easier for you. Let me just say 10 to noon. And, I went to Patrik Laine's defense, which I've done on several occasions this year. By the way, I've also called him out for being a very, very lazy player and said always has been, always will be. Okay? Having said that, I don't know if I was wrong when I called him a lazy player, always has been, always will be. Maybe I should have worded it differently. Maybe I should say more often than not, he's nonchalant, or he might give you the impression that he's playing lazy hockey, or I could say that he struggles with consistency, or he tends to fall asleep at times. But that's about the worst thing that I've said about Patrik Laine this year, is that lazy player always has been, always will be. I will say this, though. And do my own Barry Horowitz from the WWF back in the day and pat myself on the back. I was happy the Montreal Canadiens made that move. I was happy they made that trade. I thought it was a trade that was worth making. At no point did I say trade Patrik Laine this year. At no point did I say trade Patrik Laine in the offseason. At no point did I say trade Patrik Laine next season. I'm saying that because once I defended him today and I made a case for him, my God, the messages I got saying, you said to trade him a couple of weeks ago. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. And by the way, if you find the clip of me saying that I would trade him right away, I'll give a nice sum of money to charity. Okay? I did not. And even though I didn't, I'll still give a nice sum of money to charity. Anyway, so I made my case for Patrik Laine today. Brian, when we, often when we talk about Laine, you hear he doesn't sacrifice himself for the team. He's not the ultimate team guy. I came across a stat on the web, and I don't know who it is that posted it. And I'm sorry, because if I knew, I would have given them credit. But I have like a chart. You know, Brian, that David Savard has the most block shots in the Montreal Canadiens. He's got 151 block shots. He's 7th in the NHL in that category. If I were to tell you where Patrik Laine is for Montreal Canadiens forwards, block shots per 60 minutes played, where would you think he ranks in terms of about 15 forwards that have played for the Canadiens this season?
Last.
Let's bring it up. He's first.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Shots blocked per player per 60. Patrik Laine, 3.37 per 60.
Okay, so who would you guess be first? I would guess Brendan Gallagher or Jake Evans.
My guess before looking at this chart?
Yeah.
I would have said probably Dvorak, defensive player, him or Evans.
Yeah.
Him or Evans.
Yeah.
It's Laine at 337. Dvorak's next at 3.07. Slavkovsky at 3.06. Suzuki at 2.7. Surprisingly, Doc at 2.65 as well. Or I would have even guessed Armia. Like my guesses would have been Armia, Evans, Dvorak, maybe Josh Anderson. It's Patrik Laine.
That's a shocker, huh?
Now, I don't know. Is it that he's got the longest stick I think I've ever seen anyone play with in the National Hockey League, or he's in those shooting lanes, Brian. He's in those shooting lanes.
Sure, he is. I'm going to agree with that. But, often as well, sadly, when you're super high in block shots, it means you're defending a lot. So that line has done a lot of defending. Yes, right?
That's true.
so that they're all three kind of up there is Correct. Not that surprising.
Yeah, that I understand. That's a good point for sure. But look, there's several stats that I think are interesting, right? Jake Guentzel scored a goal on the power play tonight for Tampa Bay as they beat the Flyers by a score of 2-0. He is your power play goal leader this season, Jake Guentzel. He and Draisaitl tied for 15.
Yeah.
Laine's next at 13.
Yeah. And he missed a lot of the season.
He's played 36 games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brian, Patrik Laine is the Montreal Canadiens' third leading goal scorer.
Unstoppable in that.
He's got 4 goals less than Nick Suzuki. He's played 30 less games.
Yeah. And in that spot on the left side on the power play, everyone knows it's coming. The other goalie, the other team, the Canadians themselves, everybody in the crowd, everybody watching on television, on other planets, if there's life on Mars, everyone knows that shot's coming from there, and it still goes in the net. He's unstoppable from there. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it with a play as predictable as that leads to that result.
So it's just all to say, it's not all bad for Patrik Laine. 4 goals less than Suzuki. He's played 30 games less. He's third in the National Hockey League for power play goals. By the way, only one of 5 players all time that have scored a minimum of 15 goals in a season to have over 81.3% of his goals actually scored on the power play.
Yeah.
I got an interesting stat about his 16 goals. Guess who's assisted on 12 of them?
Lane Hudson.
That would be correct.
Nice, soft, sweet passes on the power play every single time. He's opened up the ice by chucking and jiving left and right, and nobody knows where he's going, and then he slides it to Patrik every single time at the perfect release spot for Laine. Perfect release
Here's
spot.
Something else. If Patrik Laine would have been healthy, so far of his 13 goals, if I'm not mistaken, Brian, I believe 10 of them have come at home. I could be wrong by a goal, but I'm going through them. I'm going through them in my head, and I think 10 of them of the 13 are at home, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's bring up a graphic of who scored the most home power play goals in a season in NHL history. It's Joe Nieuwendyk with 21. Tim Kerr had 20. Mike Bossy and Brett Hull had 19. Laine's pace this season would put him at 21 home power play goals. If he would have been healthy to start the season, chances are he would have been in the NHL record books at the end of the season.
Let's run it back next year.
Chances are, if he's not the Canadiens' leading goal scorer, he's their second leading goal scorer. As it stands, he's their third. And the Montreal Canadiens are probably, and I wouldn't even say probably, I would say if Patrik Laine was healthy to start the season, the Montreal Canadiens would have been in a playoff spot. I mean, they're 1 point out of a wild card without him, for 31 games or whatever it is.
Yeah.
In those 31 games, he's got 16 goals in 36. He would have played the other 31. Chances are he would have had 10 or 11 or 12. And maybe even these 16 would have been better because then he would have started the season and he probably would have been in better shape to,
Yeah, and I'll make the point I like to make for everyone about him overall is give him a center to play with, give him a chance to play more hockey in the offensive zone, and the liabilities defensively that he has will be, halved at least. So I think he's more valuable as a Montreal Canadian than he gets credit for.
I'm Marinaro, and that clip you just watched is from our most recent episode of the Sick Podcast. Once again, follow us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's absolutely free, and you'll be notified when we go live.